Welcome back to the Eye of Jupiter podcast. I'm your host, Tom Franklin, and today we have on Mr. Paul Anthony from the Paranormal Among Us podcast. So, let's do some housekeeping. First of all, you find yourself coming back to the channel. I'll get there eventually. Just give me a second. Do me a favor, like and subscribe, leave a comment, all that good stuff. I'm also on Rumble. If you like, Rumble, you prefer Rumble over YouTube, I'm on there. I finally got myself on. It's not Patreon. It's the big. Paul will help me when I get back. It's the one where you go ahead and download all the podcasts. It's that one. I can't think of it right now. I want to go ahead and do me a favor. Also go over to the channels, Blondes and Booze, Paranormal Among Us. That's Paul. He's on today. Texas Front Porch, Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, and go over and the PRT, which is Paranormal Roundtable with Josh Turner. Go over and check that out. I also have myself a PayPal account. If you guys want to help me out, give me, because this computer is like 9 years old, and you can see my tech is a little low. And go ahead and drop me $5 if you want to, and I promise everything will go back into the podcast so you can enjoy every bit of content that I put out. Without further ado, maybe Paul can remember the other thing that I put the podcast on. Please welcome to the Eye of Jupiter, Paul Anthony.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
What's it called, man? I couldn't think of it. What's it
I
called?
have to say, I am so glad that the opening went the way it did, because I feel so much better. I did that the last 2 Tuesdays in a row, and I feel I'm sitting there. Why is the open not playing? Oh crap!
It was something like I clicked on a button and then it went and did something else, and then it did. It's always a trip, and I never know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And hi, Magical Journey. You say you're dropping it before work. What is the thing that I put myself on that you just put the audio on? What's that called again?
Spotify.
Spotify. Thank you. I can't remember all this stuff. It's so much to remember. My brain is cooked from this Mexican sun. So I just heard that you finally reached your 500th subscriber. Congratulations.
Yes, I did. I'm very excited.
Yeah. I'm a little more excited than I am, apparently.
Yeah, it's been so much fun, and I've met so many great people along the way, and I'm just thrilled to see what's next, and everything. So I'm learning a lot of stuff about the paranormal field, the cryptid field, and everything. So I'm excited about everything that's to come. So, and thank you for helping me share that. So I appreciate it.
Dude, it's been more than a pleasure, man. You've actually helped me out. Like, how do you get a moderator? And like literally came on your all the time between podcasts, your family, and your work. You're like, all right, Tom, come on, I'll show you. And we shared screens, and we got to where we had to get, because you know me. I'm lucky the thing's working.
Hey, we're the same, man. We both start the show. What happened?
I don't know. Yeah, that happens a lot with me, dude. That happens a lot with me. Yeah, so for the uninitiated who do not know who you are, tell me a little bit about yourself and where everyone can find you once again, please.
So I am from Paranormal Among Us. Wrong side. There it is. A little podcast that I started about 1.5 years ago or so, maybe not that long. But I've always been interested in mostly ghosts and UFOs. All the Bigfoot, Dogman, Mothman, all the cryptid things. That's all very new to me, and I'm learning kind of on the fly. But you know what? I've had great people. I've met great people along the way. And I'm learning a lot from everybody. But my first love, I guess, really is ghosts and UFOs. And
you love ghosts? Well, like, what are you, like Scooby-Doo or something? You love ghosts?
I am Scooby-Doo.
Oh, okay.
No. That would have been.
I would have gotten away with it too, if it wasn't for you damn podcasters.
No, but
I remember, we got in contact with you a while ago. I think we met over some Facebook podcast sharing page or something, and you were like, "Oh, I get on a lot of great like UFO like guests," and you were like dropping some knowledge on me and Rye, and we were just like, "What are you talking about, dude?" And Rye's like, "Yeah, I've heard of it, and I was like, "I haven't." So you've been doing this for about a year, you said?
I started March of 23, and
March of 23. I started in
yeah,
April of 23. So
nice,
it's been
nice.
it's a long. I learned a lot from doing it with Ryan. I learned a whole lot in it because he's
Yeah,
pretty well versed in a lot of this stuff too. Because he keeps like a dream journal, and I don't have time for dream journals, but it's what he does. And so like it's been like you, it's been one of those things where you have the ability to talk and listen. Listen, I think, is more of a strength than people realize when it comes to podcasting. You have to be able to listen,
yeah.
kind of recollect, and if not, write it down on a piece of paper, and then try to find a way to fit it into the conversation and bring it back while keeping the people who are listening enjoying what you're doing, and at the same time, your guest.
Right.
So it's always a learning process, and it's been enjoyable as well.
It has, and I back in college, I have a degree in
Ooh,
broadcasting.
no kidding.
So
I think you told me that.
I've been doing this for years. I took about 20 years in between broadcasting and then doing podcasting. So a little bit rusty at first, but all the interview skills, all that stuff starting to come back. So
Okay. Yeah, it's really interesting. Everyone comes from a different way. You know what I'm saying? Someone will have an incredible encounter like Matt Imsh or
yeah,
Josh or something, where they run across Dogman or
BMR with his Dogman
yeah,
story,
with
or
all
Bigfoot
his
story.
Bigfoot or whatever that was. Go ahead and
Yeah,
check that story out. I mean, whatever that was on the shore. It wasn't Lake Cadillac. It was the one next to it. I can't remember the name of it. Whatever that was, that's a crazy story. If you ever get a chance to go over and check out his channel. Um, it's like I come from. So those people, like, they start telling their story, and then they go, you know what, I want to do this, and then they become like these great podcasters, like Matt Imsh and the like. And then there's people like you who went to broadcasting school, and then there's people like me who's been a stand-up. So like that improvisational skill, like listening to the audience and then like bouncing it back to them,
right.
and thinking on the fly and things like that comes in very handy. It's an interesting skill set to have, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, definitely. And learning how to talk in front of a group of people. I mean, I've always been, just me and the camera, and that's, I'm very comfortable doing that. But, one time I had to go up and speak in front of, when I went to this last ghost hunt in Ashmore, I
Oh yeah,
volunteered to give a little
that's
talk in
right.
front of about 20 or 30 people. I was
That's right.
nervous.
You went with
Yeah.
the ladies from Bronze and Booze, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So what was
was
that
kind
like?
of nervous about that. Oh, it was cool, man. Um, it's not creepy. It wasn't creepy at all. I was kind of
Okay.
expecting a haunted house to be, maybe demonic or anything. This is not demonic at all. It's freaky. No, I did not have red hair. You can always count on Freaky Geek to, throw some
He's got a
strange,
sense of
funny
humor.
comment out
Yes.
there, and he's
Yes. Yeah.
great sense of
But
humor.
yeah, but he's always, it's dark, it's twisted, it's a lot like mine, but it's always above the belt. So we appreciate all that interaction, my friend. It's been it's every
And he
time I
always
look
says,
over.
Freaky always says, make sure to like the hit button. So make sure you like the hit button. It's always fun being in a chat with him.
Did you, when you were up there with him, did you experience anything?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
you tell.
we have these cat balls, and I bought some
Yes, I
cat
know
balls,
those. I know what those are.
and we set them out, and we're asking the spirits, say, hey, if you're here in the room, move the cat ball or light it up, and we had that quite a bit, and then we had this bell, like you ring for service at a hotel desk
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
We have that, and it would ring all by itself, and that was
Oh my
cool.
god.
Yeah, that was pretty
Cool.
cool. We would add, are you in here in the room with us or whatever? If you are, hit the bell. Do you want us to stay or do you want us to leave? If you want us to leave, hit the bell. It hit the bell, and we got out of there. But the one time, there's this one room there. It's the boiler room, and there's supposedly a ghost of a guy named Joe who doesn't like women there.
Oh.
And so this was my first ghost hunt, and I was walking around with another gal who was on her first ghost hunt. There's the thumbs up again. Whenever I do the thumbs up,
do that.
it's a Mac thing.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, So we were walking around, and I was down in the boiler room. She was up on the steps in another room, and if he didn't like her there, I didn't want her to come down the steps with us. So I kept her in the other room.
Oh wow.
So I'm walking around, and I have this bell in my hand, and I don't remember if I rung it or if a spirit rung it. And then right after it rang, we both actually heard with our own ears a grunt or something. Ugh. And
Wow.
that was cool. And then we were in the room, and I was videotaping on my phone. I'm old. I still say videotaping because I used to video or record on VHS tapes. For those of you who don't know what VHS tapes are,
Back in the day, you'd have to. Remember, you had to
back in
tape
the
those, if you take the squares out, you had to put the electrical tape over
the
the
tape on there to
dude.
record on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the top loader VCRs. You remember them? The top
Oh
loader
yeah,
ones.
yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, reminiscent.
we were walking around. I was kind of turning the camera around. I thought I heard something, and there's other people in other rooms that we could hear with equipment going off. They're talking, sneezing, or whatever. And you always got to make sure you say, okay, that's somebody else in the other room.
Okay.
So people that are watching this don't get don't hear, oh, they're making that up or whatever. So no, that's somebody else in the room. That's my stomach growling. That's me farting, or whatever. So remember Bigfoot farts?
Yes, I do. That's like a 6-month-old reference to.
The first time we all met was talking on Blondes and Booze about Bigfoot farts.
No, it wasn't the first time. It was the first time we were all together on Blondes.
Okay,
Yeah, because we've met before that, and I've met Blondes and Booze before that. But then we all came on one time, and it was just, yeah, it was. We were talking about methane in the atmosphere. And yeah.
Anyway,
so okay, everyone was farting.
So
yeah, recording.
I'm walking around, and I finished recording. We didn't hear any other thing. Somebody threw something, and I heard a knock or something, and we heard another grunt or two. So I come back home, and I guess a week or so later, I'm reviewing the footage that I found, and I'm like, oh, I got a grunt and everything. And you can't fast forward through this stuff at half speed or whatever, because you'll either miss seeing something or you're going to miss hearing something. And I'm glad I didn't, because I thought I heard something, and I even said I thought I heard something. I know I asked the question, I can't remember what I did. Talk about not remembering anything. I asked the question, are you here, or something? If you're here, ring a bell or something like that. And all of a sudden on the recording, we didn't hear this with our ears at the time. All of a sudden I heard somebody on the video, we're watching.
Oh my God.
That was cool. That was super
cool.
That was super cool.
Man, if I go with you on any ghost hunts, I'm definitely gonna bring myself a nice, I'm gonna stop by and get myself a 3-pack of underwear, Hanes or something.
But it wasn't scary at all. I mean, we didn't get actually. They say that how when you walk through a spider web, you get the spider web and all the webbing stuff all over you, and it feels gross. Krista was saying that if you walk through a spider web at a haunted house like this, it's not a spider web; it's a spirit that you're passing through. That happened to me. I walked through, and I'm a spider web, and there was nothing on me. So I must have walked through like this big long hair that I have going on there.
Oh,
I guess you can see it's not my hair.
Yeah, me and you are in the same boat. Every time there's an extra hair on me, it's skinny black hair. My girlfriend, they're everywhere, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's either my wife or my dog. So, but that didn't come out too good, did it?
It's good enough. You can fill in the holes as you want. That didn't come out very well either.
We'll fix that in post.
I'll edit it out later.
Yeah. But no, I walked through a spider web. I took a picture down a hall, and I don't have it. I don't think I have it on here. I took a picture down the hall, and I showed it on my show. I have a show that I did videos of Ashmore or whatever the name, whatever I called it. And it was me standing. You can see my shadow down the hall. There was a big light behind me. There, you see my shadow. There was a room going this way, and on the left, down the hall a little bit, there was a room towards the boiler room. And my shadow was kind of going one way, and then in the doorway going to the boiler room, it looked like there was a shadow person kind of peeking around, looking.
Whoa.
But there was also a plaque on the wall. I don't know if that cast a shadow that looked like a head, but there was still something that looked like shoulders and a lower body going down. So I'm not 100% convinced that that was a shadow person. So, but you know, it's a good picture, and it's, you know,
nonetheless a cool experience. You're going to go with them again?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I know we're going to Malvern Mansion in July, and then I'm going with another group to Haunted Castle here in Missouri, just about 2 hours south of here in Brumley, Missouri. That one's supposed to be more on the demonic side, so I'm a little nervous about that one.
Make sure you don't take anything. Get your buffalo incense, whatever that stuff is called.
Yep.
And
I got. So you know, I kept asking, you know, what do you think I should take to protect myself? And a couple of responses are just, you get what you intend, or something like that. Whatever your intentions are going to these places is what you will receive.
Okay.
You know, if you go in there scared to death and show them your fear, then you know something could happen to you. So you know, I'm gonna pray a lot. I got my dad left me his rosary. I always take that with me.
Oh, your dad's Catholic?
Yeah. So I mean, even if he wasn't, you know, it's my dad, so it's his, and he prayed it a lot. So so that's his thing, and I know my parents would never put me in harm's way, so they'd protect me. So I got something from them with me. So you know, we'll see what happens.
I was working last week, and I was doing the same thing today. I'm building this big metal gate for a client, and I was like welding and cutting with an angle grinder and all that. And I was making this cut, and then when I was done, I looked out of the corner of my eye, and in the corner of this workshop I was in, I seen a mist come up. Ooh. Like, and so you know, I was like, you know, you kind of like, you know, did I just see that?
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of looked to the side. I wasn't welding, so there's some smoke, and it wasn't like the grinder was smoking or anything. You know, just cuts, just some sparks and shit. And I'm like, no, I just seen that. It was like two of them, like kind of came together and just made this misty form, and it just kind of just dissipated in the air. And I just kind of said it loud. I said, "Well, I see that you're here. Everything's fine. I'm not here to harm you, and you're welcome to stay. No big deal."
Yeah.
And I don't know if they understood me. I am in Mexico. They're probably like, pinche gringo. But this is the second time it happened. It also happened at Rye's family's house. And he was like, I've seen something here too. And we were like talking before we decided to do the pod over a year ago, whatever that was. And I was looking behind him into the kitchen, and I seen something come from the island and walk right into the wall, like a smoky figure too. And that's new for me. I've never seen those kind of things before. But ever since being around this type of thing that you and I are involved in, you know, like, you know, broadcasting people's stories and trying to help them get through a lot of it, which I think is, you know, some people like to talk about it, and there's some people who don't like to talk about it. And they find people like you and I and others who they feel safe with because they watch the shows, and then they'll come and gravitate to you. I've had people going, well, I wouldn't share this with anybody but you. And I was like, well, you want to go on the show? We don't have to go on the show either. We can just talk about it, you know? Oh, no, let's, you know, that's happened too. But I think the more you're around this kind of thing, the more you learn about it, the more accepting of it you are. And I think the more it happens too, like to you personally. And now you're going out and seeking it. So,
yeah. and you know, it's weird that you say that, because, you know, I had never experienced anything ghostly or never seen a UFO or Bigfoot or anything. And I still really haven't seen anything. I mean, I might have seen something in that picture. I don't know. I've heard stuff now, but things have started happening more to me. I'm thinking I see something out of the corner of my eye.
You got to be careful with
I
that too. You have
yeah,
to be honest with yourself. Very
yeah,
important.
exactly. I mean, I don't, was that a shadow, or are the blinds something just move on the other side of the blinds, and it's
Right.
it's weird or not. But yeah, like magical. There you go. You start opening
That's
up
my
to the
buddy.
experience,
That's
and
my
yeah,
buddy right there. That's my buddy right there. He's going to be.
I wholeheartedly agree with that, because a lot of times I'll say at night when I'm laying in bed, mom and dad, if you want to come and visit, you're more than welcome to come and visit. I would love to see you or hear you or make a noise, do something. And I did that. And one time, I smelt my dad's cologne in the basement downstairs.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was cool. So I mean, things are I don't want to say amping up or happening. Hey, Krista.
Hey,
But
Krista. Hey, Brandy.
I think like Magical said, I'm opening up to things, and things are going to start. I don't know. Hopefully, showing themselves or whatever.
Yeah, like see the who is it? Magical Journey is. I had him on too. He's going to be on not next Friday, but the Friday after on the regular show, and we talked for almost 2 hours. So that's going to be a very long podcast. Very interesting person. Very nice. Very sweet guy. And he is. Oh, it's going to be on the podcast. And he's a Green Witch. And
Oh,
he was
really?
telling me all about what that is and all of his experiences. And
Yeah.
he can also, you can maybe get in contact with him and talk with him about things that can protect you. Because I told him, and he was like, "Well, what's your birth date, Miss Danielle?" And he was like, "Oh, you can use." I can't remember what he told me. I had to go back and actually watch it again. But yeah, dude, it's very interesting, because I think the more you open your mind to the concept of it, because I was talking to another gentleman, can't remember his name, he was on the last live, and he was telling me the same thing. He's like, if you go into a place and you're not open to it, and these entities which drain, your batteries, and they use so much energy to try to express themselves, why would they try to express themselves to somebody who's not open to the conversation? And I
Exactly.
was like, wow, I never even thought of that. So
Yeah.
that was an interesting. So
It makes
let's
sense.
actually get into our topic. We want to talk about UFOs. Now, I know you've
Yes.
had a lot of guests on that talk about UFOs.
Hmm.
What can you like? What do you think the phenomenon is, or maybe you can tell me about some of the guest experiences that you've run into and things of that nature.
Um, one of the I guess most fantastic stories that I've had on the show was a person by the name of Nancy Thames or Thames. I can't remember. I can't remember if that's pronounced
Oh
right.
yeah, Nancy. I've had her on to Nancy Thames, like the river, I think, in
Yeah,
England.
Thames.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's it.
yeah. She's
But
fantastic.
she's had a lot of experiences. Um, very, very interesting, to where they've come to her pretty much all her life. Um, whether it's taking her out of her bed and lifting her up and stuff,
Yes.
or what. But it's very interesting hearing from her. I don't know if they're testing her, observing her, or what they're doing to her.
Hmm.
But I mean, something's happening, and it seems like something is happening to her children too. I
Yes.
think she
She
said
was
her
telling me that.
son was affected by this too. But
Yes.
that's pretty interesting. And I've had somebody from one of the Missouri director of MUFON on the show. I mean, that was really interesting to talk to somebody from the state that you live in, talking about all of the UFO encounters and reports in the same state that you live in. And even more specifically, she lives not a couple, like maybe a half an hour away from me. She was even saying all the things that are happening right around St. Louis too, that, right around the Mississippi by the Arch too. There's been reports
Oh, I've
of,
actually been there. That's
UFOs.
funny.
Really? And you
Yeah,
didn't
to the
stop and
arch.
say hi, jerk.
This is what was this? 2002, like August the 4th, 2002. I know that because that's like the day I got out of the military. I drove from the middle of Kansas, Fort Riley, all the way over to Baltimore. So I didn't stop by, Paul. Next time. Next time.
I didn't know you then. I didn't know you then.
No, but I'll make my way back there. I just got to
Yeah.
make a little bit of. I got to make a little bit of coin, man. I can't even.
Yeah. I
I
hear
have a
you.
hard time putting gas in my car right now. I can't even get into
Yeah,
the
I hear you
flights
on
we're
that
talking
one.
about.
Pam, thank you very much for putting that up there on the chat. I did make 500 though, Pam. So,
Yes.
yeah, that's very exciting.
Yeah, so Nancy Tams, but I want to give her a little bit of a shout out. I think hers is called Time for Disclosure. I think that's the name of her Facebook page, Time for Disclosure, something like that.
I don't
Or it's
remember.
Time for Disclosure, something like that. Yeah. You can
We're,
go,
we're
if
an
you go
awful
ahead.
we're an awful
Yeah,
lot
go
of
ahead.
like, I can't remember anything either.
I can remember some of it. I can't remember every detail. I can remember
Yeah.
the person. I can remember kind of what we talked about. I can't remember every detail of what we talked
Mhm.
about. I mean, how many hours of like recordings? If you do it for a year and
Exactly.
you do it, I'm doing it twice a week, twice to 3 times a week, depending.
Mm-hmm.
One time I did it 6 times. And
Yeah.
it's hard to, 6 hours of content, to remember every detail. It's kind of a little much to expect from anyone. You know what I mean?
And then, you have some people on the show that, they talk about their experiences like, really? It just didn't sound truthful. I don't want to say any names or anything, but they're not,
It's
they're
it's
not
very
in the,
hard to discern. It's very
yeah,
hard to discern sometimes.
yeah,
I, for the most part, try to give people always the benefit of the doubt, the benefit of the doubt.
absolutely. I mean, you know,
Hmm.
we don't, it's not our place to judge. And, even if we don't think they're telling the truth or whatever, then you ask the questions. And you don't say, well, no, you're not telling the truth. This is a lie. No. You don't say that stuff. I mean, just
No,
let them get it out, and if
and
that's what,
let the listeners discern.
yeah,
It's the
exactly,
listeners to discern. It's not for us to
yeah,
make any type of like distinctions about what's true and what's not. You know what I mean? Because even if it may not sound, because we've had a situation where I was like, hey, could you maybe tell me
Mhm.
what you're thinking about this? And you'd be like, okay, Tom, that's happened because I trust your opinion. And but for the most part, we don't know what's inside of anyone's head. You know what I mean? We can't
Right,
look
exactly,
behind their eyes and see what they're experiencing or what they have experienced. So
yeah,
it's always best to let the audience make that the discernment, I think.
exactly. We're
Yes.
just a platform for them to let out their story, tell their story,
Yeah.
and
And we're two good looking guys with I think well spoken voices, and I think we're pretty good orators. Oh, look, you are actually blushing, dude. I just seen you turn red. I'm sorry, Mrs. Anthony. He is off the market. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I was married for 20. Oh my God, how long was it? 20 years, something like that. 21
yeah.
years, something like that. So
This year will be our 21st.
yeah.
So
I
in
was.
December of this year, our relationship can drink.
Oh man, whenever I get the chance, I'm definitely going to do it too. I'm going to go out and do myself some hunting, but I have to get ghost hunting or whatever. Just go out and see, because here is a hot spot, but it's all going to
Yeah.
be like in Spanish, and I'm going to have to like first of all get my Spanish a little more up to snuff.
Hmm.
I'm still working on that,
Hmm.
and then I'm going to have to like write everything in the bottom or throw it through some type of AI so like everything's written in the bottom.
Yeah.
Especially if I mispronounce the words, I'm gonna have to go back and fix that. It's just one of those things, or maybe I do like a narration at the bottom. It's like one of those things you have to think about. Like I've never done any type of like this is the most video or visual type. It's not arts, kind of
Hmm.
I guess, but type presentation of myself has always been audible,
Yeah.
audio, whether it be stand up or music or something like that. So, and to do it in Spanish is going to be a trip. But I know this place is a hotbed for like witches. Like they have a very famous one down here called Ishtabai.
Hmm.
Very famous. They have duendes. They have which I haven't seen duendes, but at the Alucious thing, there's been things happening that's kind of calmed down ever since I invoked the name of Jesus.
Right.
I'm not a religious person. I am a person of God, but I do know
Hmm.
that name holds power.
Yeah.
And I asked my girlfriend, who's straight up pure blood Catholic, if I could do that, if I do it in the right, in the way, in the correct way, with
Hmm.
respect and all that. She was like, yeah, just it's fine, no big deal. If you ever want me to go out there and pray on the farm, I can do that for you too. I was like, you might have to do that one day.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a wild place down here, man. You never
But
know. Everyone knows a witch. Everyone.
yeah, that would be pretty interesting to ghost hunt in a foreign country and to see how the voices would come out. I mean, would they come out? I mean, if you're English, would they come out in English or would they come out in Mexican or Spanish?
I've actually seen when I was watching. I don't know if you know the channel. It's very famous. Nuke's Top Five. You've probably seen that before, right?
News top five.
Nukes,
Nukes. Oh no, no,
Nukes.
no, no.
Yeah, it's like a he kind of collects all these like videos and he goes, "What do you think?" kind of thing. And there were these Italian ghost hunters, and they were in some type of like bunkers for World War II in the Alps of Italy. And they were down these long. They seen like a shadow thing went down the hall, and then they chased it. And there was one that spoke English. There was one that spoke English, but
Really?
the other ones didn't. So I think it depends who you're talking to. That's always interesting too.
Yeah.
But I have seen German ghost hunters too, and those spoke German back. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, this is what they're saying, and it's kind of a phenomenon all over the world. It's just that the Germans are not they're not full of BS. They're like, is it real? Is it not? Let's go make a car.
Let's go make a car and drink
Let's go
beer.
eat our bratwurst, and we just keep moving along. Hey, best beer in the world. I don't know if you ever had a real German beer, dude.
I have. I don't remember the name of it, but I was there in '91, I think.
Okay.
And yeah,
I think you're older than I am, aren't you? How old are you, Paul? I'm going to ask you a million times.
51.
You're 51. Oh, you got. So I'm 44, so it's 7 years.
Yeah.
So I was you were like 18. Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the drinking. I started in England on that trip, and the drinking age there was 18, and wow.
In Germany, it's 16. Like you can drink beer at 16, but you can't buy liquor. You can't buy rum or whatever until you're 18.
And I think their driving age is later too, isn't it?
The driving age in Germany is 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to go to driving school, which is very expensive, and it's much more in depth because it's like they're very good drivers, but they're very arrogant drivers. Like it's my lane, And in America, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in your lane. In Mexico, it's like, I'm not sorry, I'm in your lane, but it's also my lane. And the motorcycles here, dude, I've never seen the things you see here. You would not believe. I told you, you were like, come on, man. But I've seen a family of 3, guy in the front on a motorcycle, woman in the back, breastfeeding.
Breastfeeding the guy or a kid?
There was a kid. There was a kid. She would be in the front then, I'd imagine. I don't know. Unless she has one of those. Unless she has a really large breast, I guess you would say. Come on, Paul. You're dealing with a professional. You're dealing with a professional.
I know. I should have been prepared. I know.
I seen a dude holding a toilet like this. Like he bought a toilet with the box on the back of a motorcycle, ladders. They just do what they got to, man. But you see some crazy stuff here, dude. So
I was in Mexico twice. I used to be a travel agent, and I was on a couple trips down there. And I can't remember. I was I was in Puerto Vallarta or Cabo.
Okay.
I think it might have been when I went to Puerto Vallarta. I was late getting out of the airport because I was an idiot and I stopped to listen to them talking about timeshare. Yeah. But he gave me tequila, so what was I gonna do? Anyway, I was late getting out, and the bus that took us to the resort.
It's my girlfriend's cup. No, it's a very girly cup. I just realized it's pink with flowers on it. And I was like, all right.
I was going to say something before, but whatever.
No, that's okay. Hey, I'm in touch with my feminist side, Paul.
There you go. But I had to take a car service or something, and this guy, I thought I was going to die several times. And oh my God, I mean, he was weaving in and out, going on the shoulder, going like on an outer road that's like a few feet from the road and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But I made it. So it was scary.
I had the same experience. When I was stationed, when I went downrange for saying, when I went to the Kosovo conflict, the war, we got a 4-day vacation on Lake Ocala in Macedonia. And we were staying, all the Army guys were all staying in this hotel. And the town is like, I don't know, maybe, I think it was like a half hour away. and you can get a taxi right outside the gate of the hotel. So we took a taxi, dude. I, it's like the road maps the lake, and man, man, you talk about white knuckling it, dude. They don't play, man. They don't play. So
Yeah.
I kind of get the experience, but the taxi drivers here are actually pretty decent. The ones that scare the hell out of me are the motorcyclists because they'll turn a 2-lane road into a 7-lane road. They don't care, and you would think there's some type of like, okay, this is a traffic circle. People within the traffic circle have the right of way. Not here in Mexico, dog. It's like every intersection is different, and you have to kind of remember each intersection.
Yeah.
It's been so many times where I get honked at. I'm like, but there's a fucking stop sign right there.
Yep.
Why aren't
Exactly.
you stopping?
Yeah.
So
yeah. We have these signs all over the place that says, watch for motorcycles on the streets and everything, and I get that. I'm very careful around motorcycles. I don't get close to them while I'm driving because they could slip. They can lay down the bike, and if I'm too close, then I run them over. So I give them plenty of room, and I'm always checking my mirrors and stuff to see the motorcycles coming. I needed to say that because you see all these signs that say watch for motorcycles, like it's our fault. Some of these motorcycles, and I apologize to any motorcycle drivers out there that might be listening to this. Some of these motorcycle drivers just flying through. If it's a stop traffic on the highway, they don't care. They just go right down in between the lanes and just straight down. They're the problem, not the decent motorcycle drivers. So
yeah, but here there's nobody. Like, okay, you're stopped at a stoplight, right? So there's a gap between the cars of, I don't know, 3.5 feet, something like that, 4 feet. All of them will pull in between those and get right in front of the cars, right on the other side of right there in front of the traffic light. They see the car stop. They kind of know because they go through the traffic light every day. They know when the traffic light is, and they take off in front of you. And it's a trip, dude. Every day I'm like, man, I'm so close to killing somebody here that I don't want to. It's every day.
Oh yeah.
So
oh yeah.
What about how can we connect ghosts with motorcycles? Any idea?
if they die on the road, then they will haunt that highway or whatever.
That's a thing, man. Like, you've heard of like the Resurrection Cemetery. There's a lot, like one of the largest cemeteries. I think it's near Chicago. There's a very famous case of like Resurrection Mary, where people drive down a specific road, and this woman will say, "Can I get in the car with you?" And then so that's also a thing that's been pretty. I don't know what all this is. There's like this guy was talking about. He was saying like everything's in a frequency, and maybe we're in this time. I don't know if it's because of the internet and we're able to share all this more, or people are not as like afraid to speak out about it. Oh, by the way, it just came to my head. Sorry, Bill Rigby, our buddy Bill Rigby is in the hospital. Thoughts and prayers to Bill. Hope you get better soon, buddy. It just came to my head, but I don't know what it is exactly, but there seems to either be an increase in people wanting to talk about it because, even when it comes to all these cryptid things, the Dogman thing is going insane. I don't know if it's a Tolbit thing. You've heard the word of Tolbit? Right, because I just learned this one the other day. Like when you think about it, and then like the more you think about it, like Wendigos and these things, then they become like reality. What do you think about that? Because I'm just going to assume that you're a Christian. How does that fit into your worldview?
I really can't explain it either. I don't know, because I've found that even as far back as a couple pets that we have, I kept thinking, I can't, this so and so is doing so well, and I just hope she doesn't get sick. Boom, she gets sick.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I hope so and so calls. A weird thing. I used to work at a grocery store as a manager, and in the evening we would get delivery for groceries for the night. It never fails. They're running late. I call. Was the truck almost here? Where's the truck at? Yeah, it's just pulling up. Every single time it's there within 5 minutes. So like,
Huh.
I'm gonna start calling earlier.
Yeah, so I can get off earlier. No, it's like,
Yeah.
but
But
for
you know,
me,
I found that it's, you know, you think something's going to happen, you put it out in the universe, and
like, I'm a
it,
metalhead. Like, I listen to a lot of metal. Like, I live in a
same.
world of like shitty music
Hmm.
and bad food because I don't like onions. Everything has onions on it. It's like,
Ugh.
think your worst food that you don't like, whatever it is, spinach. I don't know what it is that people don't like.
Mhm.
Now imagine that on everything. That's my world. So I like metal music. I'm not an elitist when it comes to metal. It's just my favorite kind.
Mhm.
And then a song will pop in my head. Like the other day, I'm in my head was La Isla Bonita from fucking Madonna.
Mhm.
And I never listened to the song. It just
Wait a
came in
minute,
my
wait a minute,
head.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Excuse me.
Madonna's not metal.
No, I'm just saying. I'm trying.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
going
okay,
somewhere.
okay,
I'm,
okay,
I'm going somewhere, Paul.
okay. Sorry.
Follow the thread, Paul. And things like that will then, like, then that song will come up,
Hmm.
or Madonna will pop up in my head, or I'll see a picture of her, or it'll be in the news, or
Hmm.
there's a lot of things like that. I don't know if that's coincidence or I'm pulling that into existence, or God knows what. I don't know what it is. Who's a metalhead? Who's a metalhead? Is it you? Is that you, Krista? You're a metalhead?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't like Maiden. It's not really metal.
Smurfy is.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. All right. A lot of
Judas Priest.
metalheads
Hey,
here.
Judas Priest just got in the Rock Hall, didn't they? They
Yeah, but
just
so
got
does
voted in.
Prince. So that shows you how much the Rock Hall, how important that is.
Well,
The hell's
yeah,
Prince doing in the Rock Hall?
yeah, well.
I love
He,
Prince.
he's
I
a hell
love
of a
Prince.
guitarist, though.
Hey, he's a hell of a songwriter. He does
Yeah, that
everything.
is true. That is true.
He does everything. He does everything.
Hmm.
Vocals, harmonies, the
Hmm.
drum beats, the bass, everything. But he doesn't belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm a bit of an elitist.
yeah.
You know what I
I,
mean?
I don't get how they determine who goes in the Rock Hall. I mean, like baseball or football or whatever sports, you have to be retired for so many years before you can get in. I
Yeah.
mean, how does, I don't know how that works with music, because I mean, if it's that way, then the Rolling Stones should never be in it, because they're never going to retire. They're going to be 200 years old playing sold out shows.
Are they still playing?
Oh yeah, they're on
Well,
tour
Mick Jagger's
somewhere.
got to be what, 80?
Oh, they're all over 80.
Man, imagine that dude's. He's got that. He moves so much. It's crazy. It's like
Yeah,
exercise. That dude's in
yeah,
good shape. They're like
yeah,
billionaires.
yeah.
What's the sense at this point? I mean, Slayer. Like, I think Slayer's back again. I think without Tom Araya.
Mhm.
I think they got. I think it's just Kerry King now, which is one of the guitarists from Slayer.
Yeah,
Metallica's still going there in the 60, even though Lars can't even play the double bass anymore.
yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, Metallica fan myself.
There you go.
But
There you go.
yeah,
One
I
of
don't
the
know.
groups that I like, it's called Epica. They're a Dutch symphonic metal band.
Mhm.
They, when Metallica was in Europe, they opened, one of the bands that opened for Metallica. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually seen Metallica in Europe with Slipknot and Lost
Hmm.
Prophets, and God, who knows what else I've seen them with. But I also seen Meshuggah twice.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you know Meshuggah. That's Eight Strings of Thunder, baby. You want to
Oh
hear
wow.
the most odd time signatures you've ever heard in your life?
Yeah.
My second favorite drummer in the world, behind Danny Carey from Tool, who was God on the drums.
Hmm.
And I don't know what this, but it's the human experience is what it's. That's the thing. It's like people think like they want to pigeonhole you into what you do. Me, I love a
Hmm.
lot of things.
Hmm.
I like, for me, life has been like a smorgasbord. You know, I've lived in America 20 years. I've lived in Europe for 20 years. Now I'm in Mexico for like 2.5 years. Who knows? I'll probably be down here until I'm 60, and then who knows? After that, I'll be 60 years old, and it's like time for Finland. I have no idea. But that's the thing. It's like I have a lot of interest. You know what I mean? I'm a
Yeah.
big metalhead, a painter, windsurfer, snowboarder. I've done and seen a lot of things in my life, and it's just sometimes we don't always have to talk about these specific topics to get to the human experience. Tool is my favorite band. Tool is my second favorite band. Have you ever listened to the band called Yob? Y-O-B. And listen to the song called Marrow. M-A-R-R-O-W. The song is, I think, 20 minutes long.
Oh wow.
It's one of those. It's like psychedelic progressive doom metal. It's like my favorite stuff in the world.
What
I
was the
like
name of the
hit the
song?
Marrow, Marrow. Yeah, because someone wrote Tool's my favorite band. Tool is freaking awesome. Fantastic band. But that's the thing. It's like music, for some reason, it's international because it invokes a feeling.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people think metal is just screaming. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Go ahead and check it out. A lot of people think it's just screaming and nonsense, and some of it is just that. But there's some, like Deftones is
Yeah.
unique and special.
Mhm.
Metallica, unique and special. And I'm like, people hear it's odd. It's like this part. I don't know what it is, but I get maybe it's just this part of Mexico. But like, it's literally, I feel like I'm in '94, but with cell phones. That's what it feels like. Like one of my
Wow.
girlfriend's favorite songs is "I Don't Want No Short, You Know What Men," and
Wow.
she'll have a couple beers and just "I don't want no short." I'm like, you're 34. Why are you listening to this music?
Wow. Interesting.
Hey, Pixie, welcome to the show.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. They'll listen to that. They'll listen to Mr. Loba Loba and Shaba Ranks.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that
yeah,
is.
yeah,
That's from
yeah.
like the '90s too. I'm like, what is going on there? I feel like
Yeah.
I'm like it's like a time machine.
You know, I was in a bar, I think it was last year, and the band was playing just, classic rock left and right.
Yeah,
And there were kids in there who were 20s who were just rocking out to this stuff. And I'm like, yeah,
I'm like, you guys know this?
yeah,
You know why, dude? Because I'm
it's good music.
I'm very conspiratorial. I can't talk about a lot of conspiracies because this is YouTube. Eventually, we're going to go over on Rumble, Paul, and I'm
Yep.
going to drop some bombs, some missiles over there. And because the music nowadays, what is it? It's maybe 5 to 10 words on repeat. The
Mm-hmm.
beat is always the same.
Auto
They
tune.
use auto tune. They use the same chord progression or the
Mm-hmm.
same notes, like a
Mm-hmm.
G. I can't remember, a G, a C, an A, and something else. And they put them together in different things, and people
Mm-hmm.
don't actually listen to the music. They just kind of move their head, and they,
Mm-hmm.
whatever they're doing, whatever kind of work there is. And I think maybe what you're saying about the bar is that people are looking for something with substance.
Exactly.
And
I think so too.
and you know what the most amazing is? There's no ugly people who make good music anymore, except for that Ed Sheeran guy. He's pretty unattractive.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Even I don't even know his music, but I just know he's not very good looking. I'm
And
not
I don't
saying I'm
like
a
his
gem.
music. I don't like his.
No.
My wife has some of his stuff, and every time we get in the car, I'm like, yeah, don't play him. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, that girl, she's like really into like Guns N' Roses. That's like the heavy she gets. I'm like, okay, we can do a little Guns N' Roses. I'll listen to You Could Be Mine from like, oh
You
yeah,
know,
I like Terminator 2. You were freaking 2 years old when that movie came
mhm.
out.
With Guns N' Roses, I was a big Pink Floyd fan, and out
Love Pink
here,
Floyd.
one of the amphitheaters out here, there's going to be a Pink Floyd laser light show, and I had
Oh,
tickets to
cool,
it, and
man.
I wanted to go see it so bad, but Guns N' Roses was here the night before, totally destroyed the amphitheater that this place was going to. This is when, look it up. This is when Axl Rose got arrested here in St. Louis, and Axl is an asshat. I agree with that.
He's a bit of a douche, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I do like some of their music, but I from that day, and this was 30 years ago, maybe more. I've never really liked Guns N' Roses. I've never bought any of their music, and I will not.
Dark Side of the Moon. One of
Yeah.
my favorite albums. One of my desert island albums is Dark
Mhm.
Side of the Moon. I can listen to that thing all the time, especially when they redid it like 10
Yeah.
years ago. They remastered it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is so good.
Mhm.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
Yeah, big music head, man. I mean, I can talk about music all day long. I've been playing guitar for over 20 years.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's just like I'm just I don't know why we got down this road, but it's always just one of those things. You and I get to talking, and we have like things that we
Yeah.
can talk about.
It's either Bigfoot
Yeah.
farts or music.
Yeah, it's like one of the two. Pick one, guys. If you guys have any questions of Paul, you can go ahead and type them in the chat. Don't ask anything about his gray beard because I'm right behind him. Quite a bit of gray in mine too.
I had somebody card me one time, and I'm like, really? You can't see this?
They carded you. Here, no one cards me ever.
And it wasn't for senior discount either.
Yeah, Hetfield though. Hetfield's gotten old, man. Hetfield looks like the lion from the Wizard of Oz. The Cowardly Lion. You ever look at? There's a Hetfield picture. He looks like the. Yeah, if you want to listen to some new really good music, check out Monolords from Sweden. Meshuggah, they're in their 50s too. Uh, I'm really into like psychedelic doom, like really like crazy, like what is this? Or there's a band from Arkansas, from Little Rock. What are they called? Paul Bearer. Very cool band.
Okay.
Very cool band. Very slow and clear vocals, not heavy, aggressive growling vocals, but like clean vocals. But the music is just, it's just I fucking love it, dude. That's my shit. Especially when I smoke a little bit of that left-handed cigarette. What do they call it? Left-handed tobacco. One of my guests said he called it left-handed tobacco. I was like, I've
Wacky
never heard
tobacco.
that one I've heard,
Yeah.
but I've never heard left-handed cigarettes. I think is what he called it.
Oh, never heard of that either. So
I
I
listen
want
to
to.
the album in the background. Oh, okay, cool. Go ahead,
There
buddy.
you go. So you know how we were talking about when you say something, something comes
Yeah,
back.
something happens.
Happens. Okay,
Yeah.
so Tuesday I do a show on the patio, and I usually do stories on that. So I remember I woke up one morning. I thought, okay, this one guest that I had some great stories. One of her stories, she was talking about her and her friend were in their basement watching Tales from the Crypt that
Oh
Smurfy
yeah.
just commented on.
Tales
That's
from the
weird.
Crypt. I had a woman
I
at
haven't
work that
heard
looked.
that show. I haven't heard that show in years. And now I said something about it on Saturday. Here comes the thumbs up. There it is. And Smurfy just said it today. So
That, speaking of, what would they call that? Coincidences? Coinkydinks?
Coinky dinks.
Coinkydinks. I actually worked with a woman in Germany. She kind of looked like the Crypt Keeper. I'm not trying to be.
Oh wow.
I was just like I was. I worked with a lot of Germans, but I worked with many different people from all over Europe.
Yeah.
And one of my friends was a Frenchman, and the other one was an Italian. And they're not German, so we always made fun of the Germans and how stiff and rigid they are. So we always laughed. And I was like, "Who? So you're back there working with so and so and such and such?" You go, "Yeah." It's like, "Do you remember the show Tales from the?"
Yep.
You remember the show's Tales from the? Yeah, Synchronicity. Thank you. You remember the show Tales from the Crypt? They were like, "Yeah." It's like she looks like the Crypt Keeper. But she
That's
did.
crazy. That's crazy.
Dude, I swear to God, dude, with the well, I mean, a little more flesh on her face, but still very close.
80 years old or 90 or whatever.
No. There's actually Germany is actually a retirement age. I think at 67. I think they're going to try to bump it to 70 because that social system. They think people say like things like it's good to have like healthcare and stuff like that, but like there's a lot of bad things about it, especially like with Canada when people are unlifing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or like the government helps unlife them.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. It's like, oh, we have, we have healthcare, we have this insurance, we can help you with your cancer. But have you ever thought about unlifing yourself? That's so crazy.
No, I haven't.
That's not now that you think about it, that's so crazy. Imagine calling the hotline for that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm not feeling good. Do it. Go ahead, do it.
I know a clip.
You're supposed to be talking me out of this right now. No. It's okay. It's sanctioned by the government now. How was her laugh? That's funny. No, I never heard her laugh. She's German, so they don't know
laugh.
what that is.
They're serious.
I'll be on the bus stop or the train station or what do they call them? A streetcar, Straßenbahn. That's what it's called in German. And there's been times like you'll have a thought in your head, and it'll be something your girlfriend did, wife did, kid did, whatever, friend, and you'll start laughing. And I don't know how many times people will go in Germany, like look at me and like distance themselves from me because it's so unusual to laugh over there.
Yeah.
And now imagine learning and developing a stand-up routine over there. So
that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Paul.
Yes, sir.
We didn't really talk too much about UFOs, unidentified flying objects. Did they come from the sea? Extraterrestrial? Extra land?
I think they could. I mean, there's lots of reports of them having bases underwater, and what better place to hide than what covers most of our land? What was it 3/4 of our
71%? 71%, I think. Yeah,
is water.
You think all the fishing nets in the sea, they would have grabbed one by now, but maybe we haven't heard about those.
Yeah.
Then you had Operation what was it called? High Jump. Operation High Jump, I think it was called. The one Admiral Byrd went down to the South Pole, and like all in his journals and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
He talked about running into something down there, and
Mhm.
there's the rumors of I wanted to say FDR. That's a little too far back. Of Eisenhower going down there.
Eisenhower
Yeah,
with the
and he
treaty
actually had
with the aliens.
right. Yeah,
Yep.
dude. Yeah, that's some
Yeah.
wild stuff. The
But
thing that trips me up. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
I
bud.
wholeheartedly believe that they're either, somewhere in this planet underwater, volcanoes. I've had stories people told me that coming out of volcanoes up in Alaska, South Pole, cave systems. Hell, if you watch, if anybody watches Skinwalker Ranch, they're in the mesa there. So I mean, who knows? But I
The
would love to.
interesting thing about Antarctica, because like I mean, the Brits had a war with Argentina over the Falkland Islands, which is nothing but like sheep and nothing, right? But this big piece of land, Antarctica, this huge seventh continent, I guess you would call it, depending. Germany doesn't count it as a continent, and Mexico, I think they do, but it's weird. Every country has a different way they look at the continents too. You would think such a large piece of land, they would say, okay, no, this is this part, this is this part, but no, there's like this treaty where like we don't go down there and we don't like parse it out for ourselves. That to me has always been where I was like, okay, oh Mount Shasta, yeah,
Yeah.
you went there, didn't you? Didn't you, Magical? You went down there to Mount Shasta. I think you were telling me about that. You can see that. You can see his episode coming up in 2 weeks, and I think he talked about that.
Cool.
There's also like these strange pyramids, or like there's one in I think Serbia or over that area where like they're digging down and it's just the thing is I think like I'm not completely taking a dump on science, but we know it's been bought and sold, and if you don't know for the last the thing that happened 4 years ago, if you do not think that by now,
Right.
I don't know. I can't help you.
Right.
You've seen what it did and what it didn't do, and all its consequences and what it might still possibly do to some people. I hope fingers crossed. I don't want any of that for anybody.
Yeah.
But there's something to be had for all of it. But I still think the world is still magic. It really, truly is. I mean, if you're going to a place, Paul, and you're holding a bell in your hand, and then something rings it without you seeing it, that's unexplainable.
Right.
And I just enjoy talking about it, but not all the time. When I'm not, on the podcast, I'm talking about normal stuff. I'm talking about gas prices and going to who are we making for tonight? Chicken tonight? I don't know.
I hear
And it's always good having you on here, dude.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Always enjoy being around you.
Yeah, dude. Is anything you're promoting? Anything you have 2 different live shows you do a week now?
So yeah, I kind of just started doing this Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my days off work, and one day on a Tuesday, I just what the hell, I'll just go out, sit on the patio, and chat and tell stories or whatever, and it's fun. I've enjoyed it. People seem to enjoy it, so I've been doing it for a couple months now. And then of course the main show is Saturday night with me and Krista. This Saturday at 7:00 Central, Krista and I will be opening up a can of Spam. What does that have to do with paranormal?
It's kind of freaky, but yeah, okay. Ooh, a little bit of a cliffhanger. We're gonna open up a can of Spam.
It is. It is.
Nah, I appreciate it very much, man. Just hold on 1 second, and I'll put you in the green room. Okay.
All right. Thanks, bud.
All right, buddy. Thank you. I was kind of cut. He says, "See everybody." What kind of one thing. Thank you all for coming and watching the show. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're doing lives. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to go over and check me out on Spotify. Check me out on Rumble. Like I said, I do have a PayPal account. If you want to go ahead and drop me, $2 for a coffee, anything to help me get this lamp I'm using right here is a Walmart special that I paid $5 for so that I can illuminate my face because my camera's so old. That's what I'm trying to do, is try to make this better. And I promise you, I will show you the receipts and I will show you what I bought with your money. Anyhow, appreciate you all. I love you all. And remember, you are watching The Eye of Jupiter. And we are the eye, and we are aware. Love you all.
You have been listening to the Eye of Jupiter podcast. Remember, if you have any strange occurrences or stories or anything you'd like to share, please drop me an email at theeyeofjupiterpodcast@gmail.com and you'll be on the show. And remember, we are the Eye and we are aware. Thank you.